Hi, this is Sharon from Crafty and Creative Ideas.blogspot.com. I'm here today to bring you another one of my Wow That's Cool videos from the series. And this one is a continuation. It's constructing of the stationery box and to be able to put the cards into. Okay, these are the cards that we made. This is the cardstock that we made. And there's also an introduction for this class showing you how to use the Garden and Bloom stamp set, which I would try to do those all in order if you can, because I think the instructions will be a lot easier to understand. What you're going to need is a piece of the cardstock that we worked on. You're going to need to cut that cardstock 8.5 by 7.5. Then turn the paper over. We're going to score on the reverse side so that when it bends, our paper doesn't crack on the side that we stamped nicely onto. And on the back side, you're going to score on each side 1/4 inches on each side. And then you're going to turn your paper and you're going to score at 3 1/8. Then turn your paper completely around and another 3 1/8. You should end up in the end then with a 3 1/8, a 1 1/4 in the second center, and then another 3 1/8. Okay, we're going to cut where the little square is in the center. We're going to cut this all the way up to the score mark and then turn it, and on the reverse side we're going to do the same thing. And cut all the way up. Now we're going to do a fold on our score lines, and I like to do my long folds first. I would crease more on the lighter side with the bone folder. I would not do real heavy and fold lines on this, simply because you don't want to rip the designer paper. Okay. Then, now this is the shape that you're going to end up with. This small tab is going to go inside. Okay, so what we're going to do is pick the side that you like the coloring best, and I think I'd rather have, this one has a little more variation of flower than this one just ended up with the pink. So I'm going to use this for my front side, and the one that you're going to use your front side on is going to be the side that you're going to put the sticky tape, the tear tape on. Okay, so we're going to put tear tape on both of these flaps. And now that we have our tear tape on, we want to peel off the one side, and then we want to line this up so that everything sits square. We're going to repeat and close off the other side too. Remove the other side of the tape and close this one. Okay, for right now we're just going to put this one to the side. For the bottom piece, I used Soft Sky, and it's from the Designer Series Stack. And it was actually the last year's. It's not the new ones. And I'm using my polka dot pattern. And you want to cut that paper at 8 3/8 by 9. Now 8 3/8, let me get a ruler in case some of you are not, really good with those measurements. Your 1/8 mark, okay, here's your 1/4 mark. Your 1/8 mark is the longer one in between. You want 3 of those. So you want 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be the short line past your 1/4 mark. Okay. Now this ruler is in 16ths, so be careful. This is an 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. You'll know because there's going to be 4/8 in the big 1/2 inch mark. So you want 3 of those 1/8 is where you're going to be cutting your cardstock. And then from the height of it, it's going to be 9 inches. Now once again, we're going to turn over and score on the reverse side of this, and we're going to be scoring 1 1/4 and 1 1/4 on each side. So you're going to turn it and then turn it and do 1 1/4 again. And then from one side only, do not do this from both sides like we did on the top. You are going to one score mark at 3 and 1 at 4 1/4. Okay, Then we're going to go ahead and bend all these on, we're going to bend all the long sides first. Okay, so I'm going to lightly use my bone folder on this. Now we're going to do the same thing we did on the top, and we're going to cut out the tiny little square. Now when we bend this forward, we're going to put our tear tape. I'm so used to all our sticky tape for all those years, but we're going to put our tear tape on the shorter side. You have these that are longer, and this is the shorter ones. We want the tear tape on the shorter sides. Now that you've put 2 pieces of tear tape on your inside flap, we're going to remove those papers. Doing the same thing on the opposite side. Gives you a box like this. Now take some large scissors. Okay, you can mark this, but I just kind of eyeball it. You want to cut from that seam to this lower part. And just clip that off. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. On the box top that we made, take the tabs and fold them down for a second. And then take just a little piece of tear tape. And we should have done this from the beginning, but I forgot to mention it. And we're just going to put a little bit of tear tape on the top of those tabs, and then take that off so that when we push them to the side, it'll stay put. And I'm just removing that paper off of the tear tape. Alright, now I'm going to take the flaps and I'm going to push them down into the side of the box so that they stick. Now the top of your box should fit really nicely over the bottom. Okay. Then we're going to go on to how to make the flower for the front. Now you want to do the same thing we have on the top with the tabs. Bend your tab down on the bottoms. Put a little tear tape on each side. Tape is removed, then just push the tab up into the box and just kind of put your finger in there to make it stick solid onto the side. And then your top should fit very nicely over the bottom of the box, like so. Okay, we're going to continue on. We're now into how to make the flower for the front of the box. Okay, we're going to wind this whole class, this part 3 series up. Now that we had the box made, I want to show you how I just completed it. All I did was I took the modern label punch and I took a little bit of the soft sky paper and then just inked around the edges of that, and I cut it in half and then just kind of taped it, pulled it beyond the other one here. I took the stamp set from the Friends from the Garden Bloom, and I just once I stamped that, I just punched it out with the modern label. I took the flower from Crazy About You. I stamped this with the Blushing Bride from the Crazy About You stamp set, and then I just hand cut out the flower. And then I took Blushing Bride, just a plain piece of paper, and with the itty bitty shape, I punched that out and put a little pearl on there, just bunched up a little bit of linen thread behind it, and put a couple of leaves behind it to complete the box. So now we have our completed box with all 4 pieces of our stationery that'll go inside. Okay, so we're just going to fold up our envelopes, the flaps, and put all of our cards into the front of the box. get ready for gift giving. You can, all of these fit in there just beautifully. And then we're going to take the front of our box, pop it back onto the bottom, and there you go. Beautiful gift to give to somebody, hopefully a friend. Thank you so much for joining me on this long video class series. I hope you have enjoyed it and you've learned a lot on making custom cardstock and the custom liners for the envelopes, the cards, so and so, and this darling little box. If you've enjoyed this class, please give it a thumbs up for me, or even if you have time to leave a comment. I always appreciate it. I love reading the comments. And until next time, God bless.